If you're anything like me, you have a bunch of these cookie tins left over from Christmas. I've just added some ball feet, and now I'm going to use DIY's all-in-one paint, the cottage colors. And I'm using the color Haint Blue. By the way, it's not easy to paint one-handed. Once I get those totally painted, then I'm going to use some napkins and do a little decoupage. When using napkins for decoupage, it's important that you peel apart the plies. We only want to use the ply that has the pattern on it. And I am using DIY Paints Liquid Patina as my decoupage medium. I like it because it's really light and so it doesn't tend to rip the napkins. Once I have everything coated in the decoupage medium, I'm just going to let it sit and completely dry. For the larger part of the tin, I'm going to use this as sort of a band around the outside. So I'm going to cut off this little green stripe that I don't particularly like. Then I want to pay attention to the way the pattern actually repeats itself. I'll cut along this way so that I'll actually be able to have two repeating patterns as we go around the side of the tin. Just as before, I'm going to apply decoupage medium first, but not around the entire thing. I'm going to sort of piece this together as I go, or it will be very difficult to work with. As you're laying it, just sort of try to gently lay the paper down and smooth it out without creating any tears. You need to have a very soft touch doing this. The next bit is a bit like laying wallpaper. They won't match in the same spot necessarily, so you're just going to try and get them as close as you can to matching, and then apply more decoupage medium and match them up. For the circumference of mine, I have about an inch left where they didn't meet. So I'm just going to remove some of this excess paper that will give me some scraps to use as I go to that final inch. There won't be any real way of matching this up precisely, so I'm just going to overlay this so that I don't have the gap, and this of course will just be the back of my piece. Because I know the edges are where things tend to not stick, I went ahead and used my liquid patina and just went all around the rim using the decoupage paper to ensure that it would have a nice fit. Once the piece is completely dry, I'm going to use a 220 grit sanding sponge and just go around the rim and sand downward. That way, if you pull back on it, it doesn't accidentally rip it off the sides. And you can see it comes off really easily. And for our final reveal, you can see this is a far cry from where they started off with. And who knows, maybe another great way to give a gift for Mother's Day using recycled cookie tins from Christmas. What do you think? Let me know. And for our next flip, I don't even know where this jar came from. I do kind of like the green glass that is clearly from the 70s, but I don't like it exactly as it is. So I'm going to start off with some Dixie Belle Slick Stick, do 2 coats, and give it a nice base to work with. When you're decoupaging, it always helps to have a nice white base. And since I'm adding napkins on here, I want to be sure that it does not come off in any way. Next, I'm going to use the same liquid patina I did before, and then I am going to decoupage the napkins down. Just like I did on the previous project, I'm going to make sure that I only use the top ply, so I will need to pull this apart. I'm going to carefully lay this on here, and then I'm going to use my brush, which also has liquid patina on it, and I'm going to use that to push it into all of the grooves, once again trying to have a light hand so I do not tear this. Now I don't want this to go over the entire base, so I'm sort of leaving that alone for now. And apparently I've lost the remaining footage, so I'll just say that I went ahead and matched it up the same way that I did the other piece, and then used an X-Acto knife to cut around the base. I added some DIY liquid patina as a top coat and painted the base in beadboard. I think that the green is a perfect matchup for the fern leaves, and I really love how it came out, especially with one of these half spheres sitting on top. I think it's a perfect spring touch. And here's a quick reminder that you can follow us on all social media at Vintage Bee Design, and we have a community in Facebook called Creating the Hive or Creative Con Vintage Bee. And I have just started this month a new coaching group. Membership is only $20 a month. There's lots of discounts. Links in the description below. Let's get back to crafting. I'm going to start off this portion of the makeover with some Slick Stick from Dixie Belle. I'm going to be working on some wine and alcohol bottles, and this is the perfect thing to use on them. While DIY paint does stick to glass and you do not need to use Slick Stick, I tend to find when I distress, I take off too much. So for me, it works out perfectly. I also had this old watering can that we actually found somewhere. I don't remember where, probably on the side of the road, but I thought it was super cute and I wanted to just give it a little bit of zhuzh. So I'm gonna paint this center area and of course add a transfer. I'm using the Slick Stick here mostly just because I had some left over. And then I had 2 of these galvanized buckets, and here I'm just going to use straight up beadboard on them. And then I also had this can, which was a Thrift find. It has the number 1 on it. And again, I'm going to use some beadboard on it. When I started painting this, I didn't realize that the number 1 was textured, so I'm just going to go and use some 220 grit sandpaper and work that away. It came off really nicely, and here's what they all look like base painted with either Slick Stick or beadboard. Now it's time to start having some fun with transfers. I'm going to be using a combination of transfers. They will either be from the classic vintage labels collection by Prima, or they will be one of the new releases that just came out. So many good transfers in that release. Of course, I'll have links for everything in the description below, as well as links for the finished products. You can also check out vintagebedesign.com and check out the new release section. We have a great sale section going right now as well. Many stencils and other DIY products are on sale more than 20% off. So go check it out. And one of my favorite things about working with these transfers is that you can distress them. So again, with 220 grit sandpaper, I'm sanding over them, and this will make it so that it doesn't look brand new when everything else looks kind of rusty and shabby. I love this feature, and I'm going to take advantage of it on all of these projects. And here's a quick peek at one of the sheets of the new French labels from Prima. I'm not going to show you how I put on all of these transfers. I'm just going to jump straight to the after product. Because let's face it, you've seen us put transfers on here a million times. You're just looking for ideas, right? Did I mention that gold is going to be big this year? Not only gold, but French, and a little more French. French country being one of my favorite styles. I am so excited with Prima's first quarter release. I can barely stand it. We are fully stocked and have all of these ready to ship to you right now. They launched last week while I was gone, and I'm so excited to share them with you. And I'm featuring a few of these in today's projects as well. So I hope that you love these as much as I do. And like I said, you can pick them all up at vintagebedesign.com. These are going to sell really fast because we know that Prima's classic vintage labels are typically our best selling transfer. So with 5 new vintage label packs, all under $20, they're going to be huge. Okay, now that I've got you primed and ready for the reveal, here they are. Here are the projects that we did today using the new transfers. I think they are so fun and easy. And this Jolie Jardin, I'm actually keeping for myself. It's going to go in my fireplace. I've been looking for something to hold some beautiful flowers. I can't believe sometimes how easy it is just to add a little bit of paint and a transfer and the overwhelming change that it really makes. All of these projects, except for the one I'm keeping, will be available on our website or at our booth at Great American here in Jacksonville. Thank you guys for joining me today and have a great day.